I'm a managing director and advisor at Black and White Financial Planning. So it's actually our 10th year in business this year. But we've been combining our financial planning work, so helping people with their retirement planning, general cash flow planning, investments, savings and tax, with their own attitude towards money. And all of these perhaps less obvious things that impact the way that they work with their money. We often refer to things like shoulds. People feel they should behave in this way or that way, or they should do this or that with their money. And those things can often be carried with us, and we be unaware of them. And they can have such a huge impact on the amount somebody feels they're able to save for the future, or the amount somebody feels that they're able to give away, or that they need to have in an account or something like that. So it can have a big impact that we're unaware of.
And so for you then, James, since you've become a certified financial coach and you've been utilizing the techniques, the tools and the skills as a coach, how has this helped you to sort of adapt the client meetings that you've been having now since being a coach?
It's been a really interesting process. I think one of the areas where it has the biggest impact is on establishing client objectives. So just the way that the coaching process invites you to listen to your client. So if you were having your standard financial planning conversation, you might be happy with certain facts, how much money the client thinks they need, what their expenses are, and things along those lines. And that might be suitable, that might be enough for formulating an objective. But through the coaching process, it's really quite, I found it mind-blowing that there was a way to have a conversation with a client that doesn't insert my agenda in there. So my agenda to get the facts and figures I need so that I can build a report that says this is what you need to achieve your objective. But a way of interacting with the client that means that I'm just reflecting back what they're saying, inviting them to say more, inviting them to perhaps go a level deeper on what they're trying to achieve. So for particularly forming clients' objectives and helping to understand where a client is coming from, some of those listening skills that are essential to coaching have been transformative for those meetings.
What kind of client results or outcomes have changed as a result of using those skills as a financial coach for you?
Another one of my financial planning clients had a few changes in their life. As a married couple running a company together, one whose health wasn't very good wanted the other to work less and consider options for the future. And that became clear that actually we were planning their pensions together, but actually they didn't have shared objectives in that regard. And some change or compromise was going to be required between the two of them, which is just not where you would normally get involved as a financial planner. You assume that your clients are going to agree to some extent on their objectives, and that you'll be able to, come up with the times and dates and things that you need to do the financial planning piece. So what I suggested to them in this case was some pure coaching for each of them separately to help them work through that bit of conflict is too strong a word, but they weren't together in what they were wanting to achieve. So we actually set out a few sessions for each of them on their own to help them work through some of the things that were perhaps meaning they weren't able to come to like a shared goal between them. And we worked through that process over a number of weeks. We're kind of still in the middle of that. So we've completed the coaching, but we've then in a couple of weeks got our next financial planning meeting coming up. So that will be interesting to see the impact that's had on the process.
And how has it impacted on how you feel about the future of financial planning and being a financial planner yourself?
For me, and the way I've always liked to work with clients, it has brought an avenue for increased fulfillment in the work that I'm doing. So having these moments to work with clients at a depth that you might not have gone to before is very fulfilling. So sometimes I struggle to feel much excitement about a purely financial goal, but where always it's linked to a good objective, and especially where you understand the importance of that objective for the client, that brings real fulfillment to the role for me, rather than having just achieved a simple quantitative goal.